I'll get to it when I have time. That's a sentence successful writers never say. I'm not talking about the famous ones. I'm talking about the ones that return to the page consistently. These are the ones showing up during their scheduled time and treating writing as the art form that it truly is. And if that is your goal, then there is one question that will tell you if you're on the path or not. Is your writing schedule a hobby or a practice? Hello, fiction babes and storytellers. Welcome to another episode of Habits of a Writer, the podcast where we talk about the habits that lead to a finished manuscript. I'm your host, Portia Levette, novelist, indie author of 2 published novels, and fellow writer currently saving up for the book cover for my 3rd novel. My first book was a hobby. I loved working on it. I picked it up when I felt inspired. I put it away when life got busy. There wasn't a deadline. There wasn't a plan. There wasn't even an expectation that anyone would read it. It was simply something I enjoyed. There's nothing wrong with that. But eventually, I realized I wanted something different. I didn't just want to write, I wanted to become a writer. At what point does something we enjoy become something we're committed to? How do we shift from a hobby mindset to a practice mindset? Looking back, I can actually see the moments when my thinking started changing. Here's what changed for me. One of the first things was my relationship with time. I stopped saying, I'll write this weekend. Instead, I started asking, when exactly am I writing? Practice isn't about proving you're a writer. Practice is what slowly turns you into one. My writing sessions also became more intentional. I stopped sitting down hoping something would happen. Instead, I asked, what am I here to do today? Am I plotting? Am I drafting? Another thing that changed for me was moving from amateur to honing in on the craft. Practice isn't just about writing, it's about studying. Every manuscript teaches us something. Every critique reveals a blind spot. Every book we read reminds us what's possible. Setting a goal to improve our writing most likely can be measured by readers' responses. But I think we know also. Some tangible ways to measure improvement is looking at how long it takes us to write. How much less of our first draft is no longer being thrown out? Let me also add, how are we handling feedback? Constructive criticism stops feeling like an attack and starts feeling like useful information. A coworker recently purchased my first 2 novels. I smiled and warned her that with the first one, I hadn't learned to move a story forward yet, so it's quite lengthy. If reading last year's writing makes you cringe, congratulations. It means you've grown. That's what practice looks like. One final shift to discuss is our emotions as a writer. I had to ask myself, how do I handle resistance? As a hobbyist, a bad writing day can lead to an identity crisis. We take it more personal and walk away for days or even months. A practice mindset is resilient. A bad writing day is just messy writing we will refine during edits. It's all material we can use. We also understand that conditions and writing aren't going to be perfect. This is true for our first book and our 10th. This week's habit is to do a self diagnosis. What story are your writing habits telling about you? What's one thing that you can change that will help you shift from a hobby mindset to a practice mindset? One reason I put emphasis on scheduling your time is because we have to be active participants in our writing desires. I've learned something over the years. Dreams don't become practices on their own. We become active participants in them. It's one thing to say, I'd love to be on a bestsellers list someday. It's another thing entirely to build a life that gives that dream a place to grow. Hey, if you're new here and looking for tips on writing, building a sustainable writing life, and want to talk all things story, then I'm so glad we found each other. And if you've been here for a while, thank you. Before we wrap up, I wanted to let you know about one change. Beginning this season, new episodes will be released every other Tuesday. One of the things we've been talking about lately is building a sustainable creative life. Part of that means making room to write the stories that inspired this podcast in the first place. So instead of trying to do everything every week, I'm choosing a rhythm that allows me to keep showing up for both. Thank you for being part of that journey. I hope you will subscribe or follow so you don't miss any episode and continue to share with your writer friends. Until next time, happy writing, my friends. Again, my name is Portia Levette, and this is Habits of a Writer.